Welcome to Darzzr on Crater City. It is night time in the jungle. And up in the sky, the Cobra Mk. It's complete. Yep, I've been busy on this during the week, and I decided rather than doing another video of it half complete, I'd wait until I'd actually done it. And so now we have the complete ship, and I've even done the wireframe on the top. You can see this is the mini-map view of the top of the ship, and it's come out really quite well. I'm quite pleased with it. It looks possibly like the original game, which is all good stuff. And to get some idea of the scale, I know it's hard to see the scale really when you're this close to it. This is one of the things that made it quite tricky to get the wireframe right. In the end, I did it by building pillars on the start and end points of each straight line, and then just working towards them, gradually replacing blocks. And I tell you what, before I go inside, we'll go up to the portal platform and I'll show you the back, because there's also the engine port details on the back. So it's basically done. You can see there the beginnings of another ship, because of course this is going to be a battle scene, and I'll show you that a little more closely in just a second. Inside here you can get an idea of just how much wool is involved in creating this ship. It's a lot. And to that end, I've managed to make my wool farm a bit more efficient. Oh, I'm using up quite a lot of food here. Now, I've put a bed in here, but this isn't a full house, of course, but in actual fact, I mean, you could use this as a house. It's certainly big enough. If I didn't have the ship already, I'd certainly consider setting this up. I mean, you know, you could set up a couple of farms in here, and you could even get livestock up here. Wouldn't be that hard. Certainly easier than getting out to the ship. So, morning has broken, and you can then see the beginnings of the Mamba a bit more clearly. I went through all the different ships from the original game, and in the end I decided the Mamba looked more... It looked the most interesting shape, because I looked at the Cobra Mk, which was sometimes used by pirates, and I looked at the Viper. I'll probably still do a Viper. I had the Thargoid and so on, and I thought, well, what would look good from the ground level? And I came up with the Mamba. Now, unlike the Cobra Mk, I've decided I'm going to put the wireframe in for this one at the end. Now, that's going to be a challenge for the lower surface, the lower edge, I should say. But in many ways, it's going to be simpler once the whole thing's done. Plus, this is going to function as a viewing platform for the Cobra Mk. That's the other thing. Each ship is basically going to be a viewing platform for the others. So that solves the problem of these viewing platforms. Not entirely sure what I'm going to do about this pillar, because it does detract from the whole thing, just as the stairs are a bit of a distraction from the Cobra Mk, but we'll get there gradually. Whoops. So if I make my way up here to the level that I'm at, this one's at a steeper angle, so it'll have more layers. It shouldn't be dramatically more work. I mean, I say that now. The trouble is, with a steeper angle, it means there's much more. There's many more cases where I'm having to sort of jag outwards by one. Then again, is that necessarily true? Yeah, it is, because there's more layers. Yeah, wasn't thinking that through. But you can kind of see the shape of the previous ship there, even as some of the chunks are unloading. That is the problem with working at this scale. I suppose Optifine would actually alleviate that, because you can set the render distance much larger. So I'll show you what I did with my sheep farm, because I'm actually quite pleased with that. You know, it's so tempting to do this. I'm going to have to put a save drop at the bottom of this at some point. Now, the problem I had with the sheep was that they were eating the grass so much that there was almost no grass left, which meant there was nothing for them to eat, so they weren't regrowing their wool. Now, two ways of solving this struck me. First of all, make it bigger so that there's more ground for them to cover. That one hasn't escaped, it's just a lag glitch. But then I thought of this idea with the fence posts. The thing is, the sheep can't eat the grass under the fence post, but the grass behaves otherwise exactly as normal grass. It grows from the surrounding blocks, and it grows into the surrounding blocks. So I've got fence posts periodically around the edge. There has to be fence posts all the way up to the tops, because these count as transparent blocks, so sunlight can pass through. And I've also put isolated fence posts in the middle. And this means that the sheep now regrow their wool incredibly fast. I won't go through the whole thing of, well, I'll maybe do a little bit of shearing while I'm here. So I do need a little more black wool. By the way, those of you who have paid attention to my last video, I was working on that quiz. Well, the quiz happened last night. It was very, very successful, and hopefully we'll make it an annual thing. I do actually work on several local quizzes, usually as a scorer, but I was quizmaster last night, responsible for setting questions, and it seems like the difficulty was just about right, and people seem to enjoy themselves, which is what it's all about. Now I'm in the Nether Hub, I did actually just want to show you a couple of things. First of all, we've got a new expansion, because we started to use up a lot of those tunnels in the original. This is CQ's expansion. She's managed to replicate the design of the original Nether Hub. And, oh, looks like the Senator has already claimed a tunnel in the new bit. I don't know what's in these chests here. Everyone was looking through my chest in the other one, so we'll see. Oh, blaze rod there. Is that a community blaze rod? I doubt it. It's probably one of CQ's. But, yeah. There's something in the Crater City centre I wanted to show you. There's now an arrow in the sky. And our skeleton, by the skelly spawner, he's gained a bow. I think Miguel added the bow, but I added the arrow. So, Kingdom of the Sky is coming to a conclusion very soon. That's got about 4 more episodes to go as I film this. And so in a couple of weeks' time that will be done, I think. And if you've been watching that, and you should do, Vexy... Oh, CQ is... what happened there? CQ hit the ground too hard. But in a previous episode of Kingdom of the Sky, Vexy mentioned a forthcoming Crater City UHC. Now, we did actually film that on Saturday, last Saturday, but we're not going to be putting it up because most of the participants managed to kill themselves by interacting with mobs or falling, or in Falaron's case, setting himself on fire. The winner was me, surprisingly enough, considering it was the first time I'd ever done UHC, but it was only because I was partnered up with the Senator and he had a really, really good idea for how to play UHC and win. I hope he does a video describing it, because it's something that none of us have ever seen in a UHC video before, his strategy. We were basically unbeatable. And the last couple of minutes, Ethan, who was the last survivor other than me and the Senator... Oh, there's an escaped blue sheep over there. We do have a few that have got out. But yeah, Ethan had to teleport over to us to find out where we were. And just as he arrived, I got him with a bow and arrow, and then I quickly turned around and also got the Senator, so I won. So there was that, but we are going to reschedule, and currently it looks like we're going to be filming a new Crater City UHC in a couple of weeks' time, so look out for that. In the meantime, of course, last weekend, there was the surprise thing of MineQuest, which was the map that Falaron was asked to play, and at the time we thought, you know, was this actually a multiplayer map? Because in places it felt like it was a single-player map, but when Falaron checked afterwards, actually 10 players, apparently. Not quite sure how 10 players would be able to play that map, but no, because in certain places, that some of the quests with more than one person, they become really quite easy, and particularly the caverns with the zombies and the spiders. You can just rush them and disable the spawners with torches very, very easily if you've got enough people. And yeah, that was a surprise, but it was a fun session, and we enjoyed recording that. So, as Fanaron said, we should do more. We should try to do more of these impromptu things. So yeah, we've got to plan more impromptu events. I'll tell you something. Actually, while I was building this thing, there was a lightning storm, and when I was up here, I don't know if that somehow restricts where lightning can strike when you're high up, but the number of lightning strikes I got on this, but it didn't actually burn very much, because although the lightning set individual blocks on fire, they didn't seem to burn away. I don't know if that's if lightning's power to destroy things has been nerfed a bit, but certainly on the old Crater City, when we had I think we had a wall roof for the library, that did burn away quite a bit after a lightning strike at one point. One other slightly odd thing, while we're going down here with a very slow loading jungle, back to the sheep farm, a very odd thing, end of last week, had a power cut in the evening, on a day when I was actually going to do some recording, funnily enough. But we had a power cut, and it took several hours before it came back on again, but when it did, my internet connection was much better. I mean, seriously, nearly double the speed. And it stayed that way. So I don't know if maybe there was something up with the maybe the nearby junction box was maybe interfering with the phone lines or something. I don't know. It's strange. But I'm not complaining. But it's weird. Very weird. Anyway, I wonder what I was taking damage for. I'm starving. Well, on that note of me not paying attention to what I'm doing, I will say thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you again next time.